G'day mates and welcome back to Pharaoh. We're heading in today. We did the Selima Oasis, the last episode, and today we're going to be heading into Abu, or Elephantine. Let's head on in.
A new pharaoh, Nebka, has been proclaimed, heralding the beginning of the third dynasty of Egyptian rulers. Nebka has brought great organization and structure to Egypt, ordering that all our realm be divided into districts, or nomes, each governed by a local ruler called a nomarch. Though this system may seem rigid, under his leadership Egypt has grown and prospered, and made many great achievements in art and architecture. Pharaoh wishes to extend the borders of our realm further south into Nubia. He orders that a city be founded at the first cataract of the Nile on the island of Abu, that we may take advantage of the abundant deposits of gemstones, granite, and sandstone to be found there. The growing necropolis of Abjadu demands these materials for the creation of more and more elaborate tombs for the nobility. The capital at Men Nefer too may have need of bricks for the construction of tombs, and Pharaoh Nebka may approve requests for these and other building materials. Pharaoh Nebka has also ordered that one of your peers establish a military post at the Selima Oasis to secure the caravan routes into the African interior. Once it has been established, you may look to the Selima outpost as a source of imported ebony, a highly prized luxury good.
Alrighty, so Selima Oasis was the one we did last episode, so that will be happening concurrently with this particular one in this timeline. And we're looking like we've got a fairly significant, this is the first real step up in city building. We've got no monument to do, but we do have a fairly significant population size for this part of the game. So let's head on in to the city. So here we are. We have a fairly good amount of money. We've got 9,000 Debons, which is pretty good. And we've got a fair bit of farmland here. This is actually quite a lot of farmland. It's a little finicky to get to because it's long and thin and it's sort of at the edge of it. But we've got here what appears to be a main area, a big island, which I think is where we're going to build pretty much our entire city, at least our population centre. And then we can tap a bit of stone down here maybe. That's near a crocodile. Might be careful of that one. And then over here we have pretty much where all of our mines and quarries are going to be going to granite, sandstone and gemstone. Gemstones, and I assume we've got jewelers, yes we do, will be pretty much where all our money comes from based on trade routes. The other two are not really worth the amount of money you get out, but I will throw a couple of them down because no doubt Pharaoh will request them, and so having a warehouse or two will help. Let's see, what do we got here in terms of food? We have lettuce, one of my favourites. I like lettuce, I don't know why, it just looks good when it's growing. Grain, good for bricks if we choose to make that, although we do not have clay, so bricks will have to be done off imported clay. Barley, flax, we can make all of those there. Let's have a quick look at trade before I jump off to the building. We're going to get, ooh, look at that, we can't make wood. We can get gems, jewels, that's a water trade route off to Badet. Abjadu is going to buy, they'll buy at least our two things, and they're going to buy land trade route, so it may actually be useful just to open it up, just to let the land trade route do its thing. I won't have to worry about a dock running across the city for it. And they will buy beer and barley and also jewellery, which we can export. And then again, a couple more things up there. So there are a lot of options here for making cash. Before we go, one final thing. We've got two gods. Ptah, our patron god, the god of craftsmen, and Osiris, which is going to be very good because we're going to need it for those floods. So without further ado, let's jump across to the city block. Alrighty then guys, I think we've got ourselves our little setup, how we're going to start with. It should get us about 2/3 or 3/4 of the way through the mission. Be able to put all the housing around the outside as I get there. And I'm using a new housing block design. This should hopefully allow me to interconnect the cities up just a little bit better and build the things in that I would like to do. So we've got people coming straight down the Kingdom Road. They'll be moving in to a couple of choice areas first to actually make sure everything has labour access. And I've come over here and I've been rethinking how I'm going to do this. Given that the granite and sandstone, let's have a quick look at them. Given that granite and sandstone are a land trade route, they're not really that bad. I mean, 32 and 45 are not the worst prices out there. They're definitely not that good. They're certainly about equivalent to some of the others, like flax and whatnot. And we're definitely going to have to move on to, where are we? Gems. Gems and luxury goods are where the real money is going to be this mission, and eventually flax and beer as well. But I think given what we've got, I think I might throw a couple of them down just to keep things nice and simple. At least one storage yard and a couple of little things. So let's actually work on that then. We're going to go for... let's go granite. Where do we want granite? Let's may as well start it right here. And I've bugged it up already. Okay, we're going to go... Let's throw down, say... Let's say 4 granite things to begin with. I think that should be sufficient. Can we fit in the sandstone ones as well? Yes, we can. Beautiful. And can't fit any more, so I'll just throw you there at the end. That should keep us going for the time being. We've got enough granite and enough sandstone to hopefully keep us going for the early part of the mission. What I'd like to do then is to branch out into, once we get a bit more population and we've fed them, branch out into gems and everything. So I'm going to go granite and sandstone up to half, and we are going to open the land trade route to Abjadu, and they're going to buy both of those. So let's go there and export it. So now that enough people have moved in, we've got a fair bit of unemployment building up, and we can actually use that to begin working on our little... what are we going to do here? Let's say... How do I want to connect up to this farmland? Let's have a look. I'm going to use lettuce just because I like it. And keeping to one food source is simple. Grain is probably a smarter move if you're thinking of making money via bricks. But I'm not going to bother with that in this particular episode, at least until later on. Perhaps I can replace the farms if required. Now these really don't... Let's undo that actually. These really don't matter too much. I'm going to fit in as many as I can. So I thought I could get another one there. It's too bad. How about we just go... Any minute now. Okay, I'll throw you there, and there we go. I reckon that should be sufficient for the time. Throw... What the hell, I'm here. There you go, throw a couple more down. That'll be enough to keep us going for, I hope, for most of the game. But probably we'll need to tap this other side once we've been to move into different things as well. How am I going to get out of here? There we go, that's those two. Now I do like to keep it running outside the floodplain as much as possible, because if I dip back in here, these guys will get caught in the flood as they walk down. So I'll give them walking space outside, and there we go. Connect you guys down. Okay, that's looking like everybody is fully connected up now. Finally, we're just going to need to get ourselves the connections for labour. How are we going to do this one? I think what we'll do is we'll run you up there, and then we'll immediately roadblock that off. So we'll roadblock there, and then what I can actually do behind the scenes is to... And that'll be our work camp access. So we're going to have the work camps go in here, I reckon. 2, 3, 4... That should be sufficient for the time being to eat up pretty much all of our stuff that we're going to be producing. I'm going to throw roadblocks as well here, stop people from wandering everywhere. And an engineer post, an architect post. And that'll keep this all going, and they've got labour access down there. Okay, I realised the gods are not happy with me. I have completely neglected that. I wasn't paying attention. So we've already had Ptah destroy one of our storage yards, the one holding all the stone. So that's got rid of some of his anger bolts, but no doubt they will build up again soon. Osiris a little slower on the uptake, but we're going to need to get onto our gods right away. So let's throw... where are we going to put you? How about we throw... You know what, I'm not going to be putting the stuff up very high, so we'll put one to each of you. Let's go to Osiris as well. I think I can fit you guys there, and that should... And unfortunately, the people are in the way. Let's get them out of the way. Gotcha, beat it in. Okay, that should give us a solid coverage for the time being. Ptah will need more, but I will get to that with some shrines later on. What's just happened now? I think I heard something collapse. Nope. Don't know what it was. Ah, just the fire spreading. Nothing major. First harvest is coming in. This is a lot of lettuce. I find it, one guy drowned. I find it interesting to feed an entire population of lettuce. I don't know why. I just think it is a interesting thing to grow as a single part of your diet. And we're just about to go into debt. Sadly, the fact that the fire ravaged through here means that traders have not been able to come through. Everything is ready for exports, but they're coming through now. Now that they've finally got labour access again, they should be coming over. And we just ran out of money at the wrong time. Doesn't matter, a $4,500 gift, I suppose, loan will bring us back on. And with that, I'm actually going to move into gemstones pretty much right away here. So, where do I want to do them? I think we can actually fit a whole bunch in here. And that is probably a sufficient number. Now, hopefully they can travel far enough down to actually get labour access. If not, then, you know what, I am going to throw just another firehouse and architect's post up here on the off chance they don't make it. Never ever know. It looks like people are actually making it all the way down. So, maybe. Anyway, we're going to need to get the gemstone storage. And I think what we're going to do is actually put it over here. Where are we going to do this one? We're going to set up a big area here. I'm going to want some space for, say, gardens and stuff. I think we will come out right here. That will give us access. Yes, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to set up our little industry right here. Actually, poking around a little bit more, it's only 250 debens to open up this water trade route. So we're going to go for that right away. And we are going to make sure we're exporting the luxury goods, which I can't see. There we go. May as well export you if we've got anything available. If we have requirements, I can always stockpile it later. If we've got them there, buy them, take them away. So with that, I think it's going to be time to start feeding our people. So we've got a little bit more cash left. The bazaars aren't that expensive. So let's throw, I think one will do for the time being. I can always throw a second one down if it is required. But this will give us more than enough. We've got 2 granaries worth. We've got another load that's about to come in. I think I've left this a little bit too long. I was hoping that the market ladies, would... Oh yeah, I forgot about over here. Hope that the market ladies would come in before this harvest happened, but I don't think we're going to make it. It really does depend if they get the food or not to get these guys travelling down. And they're coming, and the flood came too late. We missed out. Doesn't matter, we still had a fair bit waiting there already. Too bad, they're all dead. So here we come in with another massive influx of immigrants coming in. These are beautiful, beautiful working bodies coming in to help us. And they're... Why are you so low? Food. Doesn't matter. It will be coming momentarily. Now the issue is we're currently at 17% unemployment, and this is going to shoot up very quickly. So first of all, I think what we're going to do down is get down a town palace, which has unfortunately grown in size and can no longer be just put in the middle of these blocks, which is a little bit unfortunate. But I might throw it over here in the corner just to... Actually, you know what? That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that there, and if I can afford it, I'm going to build my family mansion. I cannot afford it, but I'll come back to that at a later date. And that will absorb some of it. We're up to 22% now. So that'll absorb some of it. That'll get 25 people done. And we're going to move on to expanding, I think, beer. Actually, no, we're going to go for pottery next up. You know what? No, we're going to go for beer. Because beer I can export and make money from. So with that, we're going to probably throw down all our barley farms over here. There is the option, of course, to cross over here and tap this tiny little field there. And how many could I get? Could probably get a sufficient number there, actually. And maybe what I end up doing, I might use this one over here for flax or something at a later date. So I'm going to tap this for beer once we get enough money. And that'll take care of some of our unemployment. Okay, here's the first big harvest of flax and barley. It's going to come clean down here. It's going to cross over here. It's going to go clear across the city up to our little industrial area that I've set up over here. And we've got a couple of extra storage space for the ones that don't fit in to hopefully keep it going for the rest of the year. And I can throw down more as required. That's then going to be dumped down here for a storage area. And with that, we're going to be able to export the linen and the beer via water trade route very easily. Now, throw an extra one of those down, which is good, and we have a 1% unemployment, which is going to increase slightly when food eventually stabilizes through these areas. But what we're going to be doing is working now onto... Oh, I don't actually have the cash for it, but I will be when I do get the cash. There's a big chunk there. Be working on actually throwing down, getting the entertainment sorted, and then we'll work on pottery with the new amount of migrants that come through after that. 2,000 residents. Our city is growing very, very nicely, and I've actually just, as you can see in the back screen here, I've just put down another little area over here where I'm going to actually feed the people with any excess food that we are happening to produce. I do like to sort of keep everything at least sort of part of the city. I don't like feeder housing as a general rule, so I'm going to try to migrate over to... Excellent. I am going to try to migrate over... Bloody debt. To this little format over here where I can get rid of this feeder housing as required. But until then, they're going to remain in place. And check it out, Salima Oasis has been expanded, so whoever's doing my job in the city has finally become large enough that we've technically conquered the area or taken it over. So good on them. I suspect that means a trade route will be opening up in the near future. Let's have a quick look. I just want to make sure our food is going across here properly. Make sure everything is stable over here. And throw in just a little bit of beautification for these guys. Keep them all happy and healthy. And yeah, there we go. New trade route to Salima Oasis. Let's have a look what they will do. They're going to buy... Actually, they're going to buy some things on a land trade route. So we may as well open them up. So we now have enough beer and... what's it called? Linen coming down. So we're actually going to expand that while I'm on camera. I'm going to throw down, let's say another... I suspect beer is going to be more valuable to me because my people will need it. So I'll throw the beer there. Then what I can do is probably expand up in this direction. I don't want to have too many intersections, but it wouldn't hurt to probably... I suspect that, and I can always go that way if I need more. And then I can throw the weavers down just here. That'll be enough for now. I can always throw more down if... Wow, look at that money, that's awesome. We're going to need to throw, just for security's sake, I'm going to throw in an extra one of you there, and an architect's post. So I may as well fit you here, because I don't want to put anything on this lower road in case it crosses out. What we're going to need to do now, though, is pottery. These guys are going to need pottery, and desirability is another big issue, because I've got the industry so close behind them. So how about we just put a big bunch of faces staring down at them? That'll hopefully not creep them out too much. I know I don't particularly like clowns very much. And that is not too far off a clown face at this point. Okay, we've got ourselves a new pottery area set up. This little warehouse here is now going to take in a quarter clay, and it will be able to hopefully deliver to these. What have we got here? For some reason I'm not even carrying that one in. May as well get rid of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pottery yards should be sufficient. Now these guys are going to travel a fair distance. I've actually got them going to be dunking over here to this storage yard. It's also going to be getting beer. So it's going to be a half pottery, half beer storage yard. And that should allow us to begin evolving the housing. What I'm actually going to do though is cancel this one from buying beer and pottery for the time being. So I only really want to evolve this southern house for the early part. Once we've got enough pottery stored up and I know it's holding stable, then I can move on to a better arrangement. But for now, this is how we're going to do it. I've also thrown in the temple complex up here. So I think it deserves to go over in the industrial area because Ptah is the god of craftsmen. So that is the way to do it. And we've got this little thing here that I put probably a couple of, probably 5 or 10 minutes ago. I don't know if it has been shown on camera, but it is in a nice, comfortable little position there. I do like the look of that built in and nestled in little festival square off to the side. So what we're actually going to do is have a quick look. Wrong button. How do I do this? Here, I think. We're going to have a look at the temple complex to Ptah. So, the altar of Amon, the god of the sun. Amon Ra, honoured by attention, quarries, woodcutters and brickworks work more quickly. Now we do have some quarries, so that is a useful addition. And the Oracle of Thoth, wisdom and learning, librarians and teachers use less papyrus. Not hugely useful, although I may end up having a papyrus industry set up if I can import the required bits. But let's throw them on. We've got the cash for it well and truly. So we're going to throw on the Ultravamon and the Oracle of Thoth. Thoth. I don't know how to pronounce that. There we go. Makes it look just that little bit nicer. And that will basically make these work extra quick. Not that we need it, but it will be very nice. And pottery is finally beginning to flow in. With that, yep, and we need beer. Beer will be coming in very easily. With that, what I'm thinking is that will actually push us over the prosperity limit. Currently, labour shortages, that's going to be fixed as well. It was housing quality, but now that that's upgraded, it's only labour shortages, and people will be moving in shortly. How short are we? That's the question. 21's nothing. So we're going to be pushed over our... Let's go back to it again. We're going to be pushed over our prosperity threshold. The kingdom rating is likely to rise as we have more gifts come in. And I can always send off a gift if required off to Pharaoh. And that really leaves us culture and population as the two limiting factors before we win this mission. So we are very nearly there. Hopefully this will actually bring our population up as well. How about we throw down a courthouse to really make things look good. And then I think they're going to need schools. Yeah, they do. They do need schools after that. So I probably won't go any higher unless I need the additional population. These guys down here are struggling a little bit with beautification. So I'll just throw a couple of gardens around you guys. I'm not going to try too hard. This is the dodgy part of town. Oh no, they're actually doing pretty well. They're buying pottery and beer. Good on them. Okay, they are evolving quite well. And that gives me just enough space to throw down a courthouse. Nope, there's a temple in the way. Bugger. 3,000 people, very nice. What we're going to instead do is throw the courthouse down over here on that edge. That gives me a little bit more space if I do need it. Now with that, I think I can actually get rid of that, hopefully. I'm a bit worried here. What I might do instead, I'm actually going to just throw some housing here. I'd hate to remove that and have this whole housing block bugger up because the fire people start running the wrong way. So what I'm instead going to do is allow them to come down and get access, labour access through there. And then what I can do is remove that little bit of housing, the well and the physician, and everything is hunky-dory. Okay, we are all back and things are with a few changes. I've set this one here to be a pottery holding warehouse and this one to now be a pottery getting warehouse to hopefully cut down the time it takes them to walk that far. I could have put in a shortcut, but would have probably messed things up and wouldn't have made the city look quite as good. I'm also importing a little bit of pottery because I have so much money, and I've stopped exporting beer simply because the land trade routes are coming through and just buying it from this one here, which was the closest warehouse. So this guy was continually getting beer and really just couldn't keep up with the traders. So hopefully beer will all come down here now, and I'll have more than enough to throw a couple of festivals here and there and keep things going. We've also now got enough to open these guys up to basically buy. And now I'm going to check my... There we go. Unemployment is getting up there a little bit. But now that we've got a lot more space over here, I can throw down the work camps to begin absorbing everything. You guys can probably hear my cat in the background. He's doing what he loves to do. 22 blocks of limestone. I think we have that. There we go, Pharaoh. Enjoy it. So with that, the city is pretty much where we're going to want it. I think this will give it the population boost that we need, provided it's stable, to get up to the 4,000. After that, it's only going to be culture, in which case that is a few dentists put down, and maybe a dancer school over here. You know what? Why don't I put a dance school over here? Beautiful, look at that. And that will hopefully staff all these pavilions, which currently do not have dancers. And yep, I think things are looking good. We've had a shocking flood last season. Barely covered anything here. Things have really put a bit of a dampener on it. We currently have enough food to keep us going, but I think we're not going to get enough. So I've thrown down a couple of extra farms to tap basically the fertile ground over here. That should hopefully keep us going just a little bit longer. We're also currently in the process of preparing a very, very large festival using up our huge beer stock to make Osiris a little bit happier. Hopefully he's going to give us a blessing. I think what we're also going to need to do is throw down some shrines. Not really sure where I can put them. Hopefully people come up here and stop this place from burning down and collapsing. But you never ever know in Pharaoh. I'm just going to scatter a couple around here, make the place look all nice. I think that's probably overkill, but we've got cash for it. And if I can get a blessing out of Pharaoh, Osiris, then I will be in a very good mood. Cat, please don't stand in front of the computer. Thank you very much. This sounds like my kind of festival. Free beer and wild entertainment. Oh ho ho ho. Well, this was a very, very mediocre harvest. Hopefully this one here is filled up nicely, which is pretty good, although I think I'm going to make you into a getting. You're actually going to get up to maximum, so I'll try and keep it more centralized. I don't want all the food to be stored down here if these guys are not going to walk that far to get it. So hopefully that will work. Now, we did have a very nice flood, thankfully, which means in 1 year's time, if we can survive that long, we will be pretty good. So I think we've got a fair bit of food. It should keep us going. But it's looking like I'm actually going to need to upgrade these with a scribal school. Because the problem right now is that, quite frankly, I've tapped everywhere, and short of just putting down a bunch of houses for no reason, which I really don't want to do, there isn't much else for me to expand to. I could probably go over here, but that would rely on having enough food. Ooh, how am I going to do this? You know what? I might actually go over here and make them like a little independent satellite city. So I've got the food here. You know what? I think I'm going to do that. Okay, well the population is met well and truly because there's a lot of growth left in this area here. And they're basically feeding them on chickpeas this time. I thought I'd be just a little bit different. But it'll head down and we can basically feed them. They actually are connected to the rest of the city. So that might be a problem. What I want to do is... That doesn't matter, they can eat chickpeas and lettuce. If we have a huge bumper harvest, the lettuce can come over here to be stored as well. So we've got 2 types of food from now on in the city, and these guys should be able to level up pretty well. I can't see anything that I've forgotten. Yes, I can. You guys, you want to live here? You have to pay for it. Tax collector will cover that, and those guys will all be nice after this one. They'll have sufficient food, and with that, that is a stable block connected to the rest of the city. With time and effort, I could probably level it up fairly nicely. But we've got the population. All we need now is the culture. So I'm going to go and throw down some dentists and no doubt a couple of other things as required, and I'll be back shortly. Well, you know, things are pretty unusual when there's that many people clamoring for a dentist. But here we go, we got ourselves some dentists built into these areas, and hopefully, jugglers, alrighty. I need to, unfortunately, do a tiny, teeny little bit of culture spam. Or do I? What I could probably do, let's throw a booth up here. Can't do it. Be a pain in the ass to juggle around there. How about I try and make it fit into the city? That's what I've been trying to do for the most part in this game. So if I throw you there, we can get some entertainment to these guys. Done. Problem solved there. Do I want... Where can I put it up here? Actually, is that enough? Let's see. That is enough. We're now over and built into the city. There was no unnecessary stuff built in at all. So that is the end. We've basically won when it ticks over. And there we go. Victory.
Well done. You have established a thriving city that other Egyptian cities look to as an example, and that Nubia looks to with envy.
And there we have it, guys. We have beaten Abu on difficult, or on hard difficulty. We're going to be moving on next episode onto Saqqara, or however you pronounce it, and we have ourselves a mighty interesting thing coming up over there. So I've been Blxz. This has been Pharaoh. Join me next time as we head into Saqqara.